It is National Signing Day, and Tom Downey, right here, me, here to break down the 2021 LSU recruiting class. We'll go in depth on every single player, but first, a little overview of where the Tigers sit, and this is what you could probably call a consensus. The number 4 class in 2021 via the 24/7 Sports Composite, ESPN's rankings, which are always pretty weird. Rivals, and then just 24/7 Sports themselves. This is a very clear number 4 class in the country. 22 commits in total for LSU, almost all of whom are either already enrolled or have already signed their letters of intent. They got 2 different 5 stars, some great depth with 15 different 4 stars, and some 3 stars thrown in there for good measure as well. Now, before we break down each commit or signee or already enrolled player, can I get a Go Tigers in the comments section? I know we got LSU fans who watch the show, and if you're not an LSU fan and you're a different fan of an SEC team and you're just trying to keep an eye on the competition, feel free to type in a boo in the comments section as well. Let's break down this class then, beginning with 5-star defensive tackle Maason Smith. 2 A's for All-American, probably. The number 1 player in Louisiana, that is the exact type of player Ed Orgeron has to keep in state, and they did that, getting him to commit and enroll, by the way, in the early signing period. Next up on their 5-star list, one of their second of their 2, I should say, also from the state of Louisiana, that is Sage Ryan. He's number 29 overall safety/defensive back. And it's kind of DBU once again for the LSU Tigers. How about Derrick Davis Jr. out of Pennsylvania, number 64 overall in the nation. LSU reeled in 2 of the top 4 safeties in the 2021 recruiting class. Defensive heavy at the top, and now this big group of offensive options here. Beginning with Deion Smith, a wide receiver out of Mississippi. The nicest ranking you will see this year, number 69 overall, and in theory, will have some success with the number 3 player from the state of Louisiana. That is wide receiver Chris Hilton. 2 different receivers come in inside the top 80 for LSU, and in theory, Garrett Nussmeier, the number 83 overall recruit, a 4-star quarterback out of Texas, will be the one throwing it to them in the not-so-distant future. And if you go, wait a minute, I recognize that name, Garrett Nussmeier, why do I know that? Well, it's probably because that's Doug Nussmeier's son, the former college football coach and more recently, and currently I should say, the quarterbacks coach for the Dallas Cowboys. So there's some connections there between the NFL and other SEC programs. Garrett Dellinger checks in just inside the top 100 as well. He's number 90. By the way, quick note, Smith, Nussmeier, and Dellinger all enrolled early. Armoni Goodwin is the top running back in this class for LSU, number 95 overall, out of Alabama, by the way, the number 6 player in the state. LSU went behind enemy lines to pull him in. Now, if you guys are forgetful, which happens to everybody, it is almost Valentine's Day, and you don't want to completely forget, because that's how you end up in the doghouse somewhere no one wants to be. So let me help you. Save 15% off flowers and all kinds of different gifts for your significant other by heading over to chatsports.com/flowers. That will take you into the Pro Flowers site, and if you use that link, you will save 15% off. So you can save your money and get something nice for your significant other. Do not forget about Valentine's Day, and don't wait around either, because that's how you end up paying a super heavy premium, and nobody wants to do that. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description for you guys. It's chatsports.com/flowers. Now, we mentioned LSU was the consensus number 4 recruiting class. As we sit right now, knowing things could change and very well might, the top 5 in the nation: Alabama, again. Ohio State, number 2. Georgia's number 3. There's LSU at 4. And then Clemson checks in at number 5. As things sit in the SEC, well, they got 4 of the top 6, which is pretty impressive, the aforementioned Bama, Georgia, LSU classes. Texas A&M has been a big riser since early signing day. They're number 6. And then Florida, number 5 in the SEC, but is actually down there at number 13 overall, which is Not quite what the SEC is accustomed to, since it just means more in that conference. So grade LSU's 2021 recruiting class for me, keeping in mind that they'll finish in the top 5. Is it an A, B, C, D, or an F? I think it's an A class. If you're telling me you're going to bring in a top 5 class pretty much every single year, I think you got to take that. Yes, ideally you would love to beat Alabama and Ohio State, but that's not really how things have worked in recent years. A top 5 class is what you should be aiming for every single season. So it's an A for me, but go on down to the comments and grade it. A, B, C, D, or F. Back to this recruiting class here for LSU. Landon Jackson, Bryce Langston, and Saivion Jones. 3 different 4-star defensive ends, all inside or just outside the top 160. That's a good way to build some depth on the trenches if you're the LSU Tigers. Another back, Corey Kiner, number 158 overall. He and Armoni Goodwin, could pair a very potent 1-2 punch for LSU in the backfield. And then another highly touted defensive back, Damarius McGhee, 187 overall. He comes in from Florida. Quick note, by the way, on Corey Kiner. Not often LSU goes up to this state. They went into Ohio to pull him from Cincinnati away from schools like the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, we got some more recruits to get into. Before we do that, though, I want you guys to shout out your favorite player in this year's class. Is it the highest-rated guy in Maason Smith? Is it the quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier? Is it someone we haven't even mentioned yet? Let me know what you guys think. All right, even more players. We're not done yet with this LSU class. Greg Penn III, a 4-star linebacker, along with Zavier Carter. So, kind of funny how these groupings paired up, right? 2 linebackers there, and then 2 receivers, Malik Nabers and Jack Bech, 258 overall and 349 respectively. Both of those receivers, by the way, from the state of Louisiana, making sure they are recruiting their backyard pretty well. And then Kimo, I think I'm pronouncing this right. If not, I'm terribly sorry. Makaneole, a 4-star guard, number 439 overall. Now, if you guys love college football, subscribe. We do NFL, we do NBA, and college football videos as well. After National Signing Day, things do get a little bit light in terms of what's going on, but we'll still keep you guys updated on college football stuff. Maybe another team fires their head coach. I mean, Tennessee just did it, right? So if you want to stay up to date, hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's wrap up this 2021 recruiting class then for LSU. Another safety, Matthew Langlois, 465 overall. A JUCO recruit, linebacker, Navonteque Strong, number 18 JUCO recruit in the nation. Tight end, Jalen Shead, just inside the top 1,000. And then unranked, because he's a punter, but punters matter too, Peyton Todd to wrap up this class. So again, in total, 22 different commits. 2 of them are 5 stars. 15 of them are 4 stars, and then some 3 stars to round out what appears to be a consensus top 5 class for LSU.